So to New Beginning, New Japan Pro Wrestling. We're in Corkin Hall once again. We are SOS Wrestling Network. It is your boy, the Pro Wrestling Fly Guy. I am joined by my good homie across the pond, the good man himself. Okay, how do you today?
I'm living the dream. It's fucking cold here, man. It's been snowing the last few days, and we talked about that the other day because it was snowing in your neck of the woods, wasn't it? And I said how we never get snow here. I think I jinxed it because it's been fucking cold. Like, it's been the first time I've wore a hat, gloves. I had a hoodie on. I had a fucking, what are they called? A gilet. I don't know what they're called. Body warmer type gimmick on.
Yeah.
Like, anything you can imagine. I'm literally sat here. I've got the heating on in the house, which is flat, which is garbage. So the point I've got a heater literally right next to me on next to my feet. It's absolutely freezing. Absolutely freezing. But we're here to talk about some fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling, which is magical. And apologies, everyone. This one's a day late. We time zones suck. Let's just leave it at time zone sucks.
Yeah, they do, and work, going long sucks as well. But you know what doesn't suck, and you know what is not cold. Okay, this final show that we got on the road to New Beginning, because I saw there's a show on Saturday. Well, actually not Saturday. It was it was last Saturday. That's what I'm talking about. But this is pretty much wrapping up our New Beginning shows because for the next two nights we got coming up, we got two big title matches. I guess you can kind of say three, but one of the belts is defended as, two of the belts are defended as one. So we got two big title matches coming up. And pretty much this is like the last little bit we get before we get into all that stuff,
Yeah, it's pretty much the go-home show for the New Beginning in Hiroshima shows, which I, for one, am very, very, very excited to cover here on the channel. So everyone get subscribing before we fucking... and hit the notification bell, because we're going to bring you the best fucking coverage possible for the New Beginning in Hiroshima shows.
Absolutely. Not only the best coverage possible, but in my opinion, the best coverage. But that is, neither here nor there. And speaking of coverage, the first match we got Suzuki Gun. We have the team of Yoshinobu Kanemaru, El Desperado, and it seems like a treat for me because I got to see Minoru Suzuki for essentially 2 days in a row, which these lately these New Japan tours, he really hasn't been on them. So if you want to know what I mean, you'll get that Giant Baba Memorial Show, results here in a little while. But no, I actually watched the Giant Baba show, and then I followed it up by watching this show, and I was like, dude, that's a double treat. I got Minoru Suzuki. It's like a double dip of Minoru Suzuki, and these days that's almost pretty rare.
Yeah, because we haven't seen Suzuki in a while. Not since we've been doing the Road 2 shows, and there was 3 or 4 last week, and it was fucking magic. Like I said, I watched the Giant Bubba show before, the Memorial show before the Road 2 New Beginning, so I think I kind of stabbed myself in the foot there, because I think I really would have enjoyed it if, Suzuki came out and I hadn't seen him for ages. I kind of already got over, Suzuki. It's kind of like, damn, if we just waited 24 hours to watch the Giant Bubba show, would have seen Suzuki for the first time in a while. But it's good to see him in glorious HD on New Japan World, though.
Oh, absolutely right here. And he was actually on the winning side because they took on the team of Gabriel Kidd, Yuya Yamuro, and Raizuke Taguchi, which when you get a veteran paired with two young lions like Taguchi was right here, you already know what's going to happen. We got El Desperado putting the young lion Yuya Yamuro away in about a little under 8 minutes with a Peniche Loco. Thought it was solid. I actually enjoyed the tag team of Kanemaru and El Desperado. And it's always good to see Minoru Suzuki and a team like El Desperado and Kanemaru, which shout out to the English commentary once again while this match was happening. Kevin Kelly was asking El Phantasmo about the potential challenge of a El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru for getting, their title shot back or their titles back. And El Desperado said, no, they haven't earned it. Kevin Kelly's like, well, what do you mean? He says, well, they had their chance the whole tour to beat us. They never beat us on this whole tour. And by that merit, I don't feel they should deserve a title shot. And I'm like, dude, El Fantasmo just kind of spit some knowledge right there, because if you think about it, he's actually right. They didn't beat them once they lost the belts to him any time. So they don't deserve a title shot, even though I am a fan of Despy and Kanemaru. They get the victory right here. But in the long term, ELP is over here spitting facts.
Yeah, and I'm really, really annoyed that this will be the last time we get to see him on commentary, because he announced he's hanging up the microphone, he's hanging up the boots. This will be the last time we hear El Phantasmo on the commentary team, which is bullshit, because we said even on the New Beginning and Nagoya show review and the Road 2 shows, we talked about how much we really, really enjoyed the El Phantasmo commentary. So him not being on it anymore is actually quite really disappointing. And in actual fact, it's actually I'm very down about it. As one thing I was mega hot about, but yeah,
I don't know.
Go
I'm
on.
with you. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that, okay? Because I don't know. Maybe he was getting too over as a commentator. Maybe other people don't
No,
like him.
no,
Maybe
no, no. There's no way. There's no way he was getting too over. So they were like, "Yo, dude, stop." The only possibility that's running through my mind is maybe he got some heat for some of the stuff, like he calls people fat marks. Like it's a joke, it's funny, it's entertaining. Like it's getting over as a heel character, but maybe people took it personally, were tweeting New Japan or emailing in or who knows what. So maybe they just want a fan.
You know we spit facts here, man, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, dude. We know all the people who pretty much watch New Japan on Twitter for the most part, man. They don't like ELP for the most part. And too, if you say something like, "Oh, fat Mark's," gonna just go ahead and get their fingers a flaring because you can't say fat Marks, and that's going to get them mad, you know. So it's just like, oh.
Yeah, that's literally a recipe for instant heel heat, but that's his job. His job is for you to hate him, so they're doing a great thing. The only time it's not is if they go, "Oh, well, I'm not going to watch anymore." If they start doing that, that's a different ballgame. But they're not.
Different.
Yeah, completely different. But maybe people are. I mean, I kind of wasn't paying much attention at the time for what was going on when everyone was just bashing and trashing the guy. So I'm kind of in the know of why, because I remember something happened with him and Osprey or something along those lines. I think we touched upon that on the new beginning in a Nagoya show. But for me, I'm like, damn, I'm found like the English commentary. I'm a big fan of Kevin Kelly. I put it over on the New Japan Strong review. Everyone go check that out. And I said what a great job he does. And with ELP, there's this magical team with the chemistry of Kevin Kelly, that ultimate babyface kind of commentator calling it down the middle, and ELP just being a prick, Chuck Chris Charlton in there or Rocky Romero. And you've got a magnificent announce team. I definitely think there's a future in El Fantasmo when he's ready to hang up the actual wrestling boots to get onto the commentary gear, because that would be absolutely magnificent.
Absolutely. And he, like I even said on one of our other shows, even though he plays the heel side of the commentary, you know, side of things, there are even some things that he'll even say, all right, now that's despicable. And it's kind of like, you know, he's almost not playing a straight man, but he's being a heel, but he's keep shooting it straight as well. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm a heel, I'm Bullet Club, but if I see something, I'm like, okay, that's kind of despicable, I'm going to say it as well, and which he has done.
Yeah, absolutely. So I thought it was great. And the opener itself, sorry to go off on a tangent there. The match itself, I really enjoyed. Like I said, there's Suzuki and there were some young lions, so you know you're going to get a battering. I thought it was a solid match, and it felt like it's been a while since I watched some New Japan from Korakuen. It was in reality only probably a few days, but no, I don't know. With New Japan at the minute, I know it's not getting a lot of mainstream attention because there's kind of no big match kind of, apart from the stuff going on with AEW. But for me, I'm fucking really, really enjoying this tour. This whole tour, I've just fucking loved. I've really, really enjoyed it.
It's kind of a different mix because we're getting some like faces maybe in different places they wouldn't have been in the past. So it's actually a very good, interesting mix. So I dig it a lot. And also shout out to Yuri Yamura here in this match because he was going at one Minoru Suzuki very, very hard. It was bringing a fight to him. So, you know, El Desperado says post-match he's always eager to see young lions get slapped. So, yeah, I thought it was a nice, entertaining opener right here. And the next match we got right here was another 6-man. We had the Chaos Trio of Hiroki Goto, Tomohiro Ishii, and Kazuchika Okada taking on the Bullet Club team of Yujiro Takahashi, Jay White, and Evil. And I wonder, too, about El Phantasmo not being on the commentary team. Is that maybe some storyline stuff with the Hiroki Goto thing, considering that he got from the commentary table and attacked Jay White a couple nights ago? So I'm kind of wondering, is that maybe tying into it as well? I guess we'll find out here in the future. But this match right here, this didn't go that long. This match was ended by disqualification, and I actually think this was the right call because the mini rivalry that the Bullet Club has with this Chaos group right here, it's become heated. It's become almost, we really can't keep this in ring. They're attacking each other. They're not even letting entrances go through before they even attack each other. So the disqualification was the right call. We got Okada even attacking Evil post-match. So, yeah, this is some heated stuff between these two stables going on right now, okay?
Yeah, 100%. I'm really enjoying it. It's probably the first time in probably since the existence of these never open weight 6-man belts where I'm actually really excited for the match that's going to be taking place on Thursday. Friday, sorry. Thursday is taking place, isn't it? Tomorrow, yeah, it's the 10th and 11th, isn't it? So Thursday. Magic.
Yeah, tomorrow and Thursday, yeah.
Absolutely magical. But, like, it's kind of, the titles aren't kind of the big factor. It's the actual hatred of the factions, which I kind of like. And I love what they're doing with Evil and Okada because on one hand, it's I actually don't care about this match. I couldn't give a fuck about Okada and Evil. And on the other hand, has me thinking, wait a minute, if they have a match, it could in theory be a number one contenders match, so it could be a way for Okada to kind of get back into that title picture. Because I'm always thinking of a way to get Okada back inside that beautiful IWGP Heavyweight title picture. Because I think Okada and Ibushi, I can't remember if they've ever had a singles match that's not in a G1. I can't remember, especially not for a world title.
They wrestled in Kingdom last year.
Oh, yeah, fucking of course. But like,
but you know who hasn't had a singles match outside of G1 though?
Go on.
Kota Ibushi and the King of Darkness, Evil.
So maybe, because I think those two are gonna have a match at Castle Attack, guaranteed, and then the one before New Japan Cup, I think we potentially could get a Evil versus Kota Ibushi. Sorry, I did it what you did, or Okada versus Ibushi. I see it as a potential number one contenders match. I'm shocked that this wasn't added to the show. I'm absolutely shocked.
I like that they kind of are holding it off, because the way that these cards are kind of placed right now, they're putting everything. Honestly, this is going to maybe be a hot take. Maybe, people won't agree with me. I think if you put a Kazuchika Okada match on there with versus Evil on maybe the same card, or even the same kind of weekend with either the junior heavyweight or the heavyweight title match, just my honest opinion, that match overshadows it, because just the players you have in it. And I'm not taking anything away from Kota Ibushi, nothing away from Sonata, Sho, or Hiromu Takahashi. But I just think if you have an Evil and Okada in the singles match, I honestly think that would have overshadowed both of those matches.
Possibly, but it's nothing on the line. And the way New Japan works is kind of when there's nothing on the line, it's for momentum, and if it's about you'll in theory go on to get yourself a title match. So for example, the junior heavyweights, my sole expectations for the Bushi versus Master Wato match, whoever wins that will be the next challenger at Castle Attack. That's my assumption, which that's kind of what they've done for so long. For example, Sonata and Evil, that wasn't announced at Wrestle Kingdom. It wasn't announced as a number one contenders match, but Sonata won, and then he went on to challenge Ibushi after the show. So they could have done Okada versus Evil at New Beginning, and then the winner of that match go on to challenge and face Kota Ibushi at Castle Attack for the IWGP Heavyweight title. That's what I wish they did. They didn't, and I'm interested to see when they do it, because we're approaching New Japan Cup. So if they just have a singles match at Castle Attack, my mind just remembered New Japan Cup is the show after, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Because the 45th, the anniversary show, is the champion versus champion. So it'll be Kota Ibushi against either Sho or Master Wato. So the next time a challenger is actually going to have a shot will be after New Japan Cup, because Kota Ibushi will be in that. So yeah, Okada and Evil will just be thinking about it logically, will just be a throwaway. It'll just be a match because they want a match. But why does... Now, okay, I went on a mad praising spree of New Japan about 5 minutes ago, and I'm actually trying to think of why Okada actually wants to get his hands on Evil.
He wants to get that win back from the New Japan Cup last year.
He's bothered by something that happened 9 months ago. Dude, I don't remember the match.
I understand what you're saying, but us as wrestling fans sometimes have been critical about them not just New Japan, but wrestling in general, not holding on to like long term storylines, and not. And I'm like, I could kind of, and it's not even about how he lost to him or about him losing to him. It's about how he lost to Evil. It's all this Bullet Club interference and everything. That's pretty much when Evil joined Bullet Club, for lack of intensive purposes. So he might feel some kind of way about it, and he never really got the chance to pay him back. So because they weren't in the same block in G1, so pretty much Evil has evaded him the whole year since that New Japan Cup match. And maybe Okada's like, dude, this is some time I can get my comeuppance. Which, if you think about it logistically, it kind of makes sense, because they were in the same block in G1. So he couldn't match him off. They couldn't match off against them. Will Ospreay did that shit to him. So it's like maybe he wanted to get back at Evil sooner, but he was like, all right, well, Will Ospreay just did this, so I'll get the Evil down the line. So maybe for Okada, the storyline, he's getting back at the people who essentially beat him last year. I mean, not Naito, because that was like a straight up kind of deal. But for people who kind of accosted him, if you think about it, he's kind of getting back at him. He just is doing it in different order.
Yeah, again, it's when you lay it out like that, that's actually really good booking. But just looking at it from the outside, kind of not realizing that that's because I didn't know that. I don't watch all the backstage comments. I should, and I know I should, but I don't always watch the backstage comments. So has Okada actually in the backstage comments been saying that he's pissed off because of the New Japan Cup, or is that what we're assuming?
He's mentioned it a few times. Like, he's definitely mentioned it a couple times, and he's just like, now he's like, let's fight, and he's just calling Evil a bastard and saying like, when you want to do this, and Evil's playing it very coy, and he pretty much Evil's not even giving it really any credence, to be honest. He's not even talking about a singles match between the two of them. So yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's weird for the dude to be like, yeah, I don't want a singles match with him. I'm cool. Like, it's kind of, and he's
burying a little bit.
And he's kind of low key, okay, holding on to that New Japan Cup win. Like, hey, It's just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I beat you last time, so I can see what you mean. But then I just had to remind myself all that stuff happened. So
yeah, I completely forgot. So thank you very much for explaining, because I completely forgot. But yeah, that's again the beauty of New Japan with the long-term booking, like you said. That makes a lot of sense.
And okay, speaking of people being accosted right here, man, we got another 6-man tag team match. I hate to sound like a broken record, guys. It's weird to even call these guys. I was thinking about this the other day, okay? See if you see where I'm coming from with this. It's weird to even call these guys Suzuki-gun because he's rarely even on these tours anymore. So it's really, I mean, I call him Suzuki-gun, but like...
We got to give him a new name. We got to give him, before new beginning shows, before the reviews, we got to give him a new name. Because, yeah, you call him Suzuki-gun, but he's not there.
Honestly, for all intents and purposes, until we can think of something better. I mean, Tekker-gun. I mean, because these are Tekkers, and I mean, they pretty much are the preeminent members of this stable, in my honest opinion. That's what I can think of right now. But we got Doki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi taking on the Bullet Club trio of the 7-time IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the Guerrillas of Destiny, Tama Tonga Loa. The heater himself, the master heater, Jado, we've said is in immaculate shape right now. Shout out to Jado right here. He's got himself in great shape. Yeah, like I said, people being accosted, okay, man, who would ever say, man, I feel bad for Taichi? Who would ever say that? Because I feel so bad for him, what they've done, what Tama Tonga's done with the Iron Finger. He's just playing jokes with him with the Iron Finger. When Taichi isn't there, he has it taped to the belt. So, man, this is like a artifact to Taichi, man. You just being so much sacrilege with it. Tama Tonga, and he sells it so well as Taichi. He sells it like he just literally wants to kill Tama Tonga. Like I love this Taichi's facial expressions during this whole feud. And another thing I love, shout out to Kevin Kelly for this, is whenever Taichi goes on his mad choking spree, he calls it the Greco-Roman throat hold. I love that call because it's just like, yeah, it's really a chokehold, but nice little pro wrestling twist on it. But yeah, this actually, I've been enjoying the feud between the Dangerous Tekkers and Guerrillas of Destiny. It's a nice little mix-up because you essentially have two heel teams right here. Guerrillas of Destiny are probably going to be the more heelish team of the two. This was a solid match, and Taichi, to El Phantasmo's dismay on the commentary table, put Jado away with one side kick, and he was kind of pissed off about that on the commentary table. I thought that was kind of funny. It's a little under 10 minutes. Solid match right here, and I just love actually, I'm a fan of all three of these guys. Jado more so not for his ring work, but just for the ability to him get in shape. So yeah,
it was fun. It was a solid match. It built up the Tekkers against Guerrillas of Destiny coming up on the 11th. So it was done what it was meant to do. I don't want to be that guy, but I'm more looking forward to on the 11th because of the build to Guerrillas of Destiny against the Tekkers than Kota Ibushi and Sanada. Because yeah, Ibushi Sanada is going to be a good wrestling match, and I'm expecting it to be, but there's just not that kind of. I'm not excited. I'm not kind of like jumping up and down like, oh god. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch a solid wrestling match with the Tekkers and the Guerrillas of Destiny. It's kind of like they've built this feud for a while, and obviously with Lizuka's fucking Claw of Doom. And where the Guerrillas of Destiny come out with loads of bags and Taichi's trying to find the claw. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really good. They did WWE better than WWE do WWE when it comes to actually building and promoting a match on pay-per-view quote. So I think they did a great job there. The match itself was entertaining, and yeah, my boys Bullet Club getting the win.
I like that, and I like that you say your boys Bullet Club, because honestly, now that I think about it, over here in New Japan, There's probably not a stable that I honestly don't like in some form of I'm not a fan of Will Ospreay, but I will go on record and say I'm a big fan of the Great O'Khan. So
whoa,
shout out.
hold the fort. Why are you not a fan of Will Ospreay?
Okay, I don't like Will Ospreay, man, but I'm not saying he's not a great wrestler, because of course he's a great wrestler. I'm just not a fan of Will Ospreay. I'm just like,
I threw you under the bus there. My bad. I completely forgot.
Hey, okay, that won't be the last time I've been thrown. I've been run over many 40-inch wheel tires, my friend, but I persevere. But it's okay. But no, Will Ospreay's a good wrestler, man. It's just sometimes some people ain't some people's cup of tea. You know what I mean? It's just like it is what it is. Like I'll shout him out when he has a great match, because he had a great match on Wrestle Kingdom. So he had a great match with fucking Kojima a couple weeks ago. That was a banger.
So I'll give magic. That was magic.
Yeah. Like, so just because I don't really like him, don't mean I won't give him like credit when the credit is due. You know what I mean? I think when people, not saying you, because you are an intelligent person, but like, I think when people like when they're like, oh man, you don't like this or you don't like that, that don't mean that you can't like critique it objectively still. You know what I mean? Because I can still critique his shit objectively. I'm just like, he's just not one of my favorites.
Yeah, and it's like in the end of the day when we do the whole LIJ stuff, it is just for entertainment purposes. You're not actually that bothered if someone else beat. In the end of the day, it's
like.
You know what I mean?
There's one of my friends, Tyler. I'm like, dude, you don't even like LIJ. All right, just say it. I'm like, but guess what? Like, it don't bother me. That's fine. I mean, everybody's gonna like who they like. At the end of the day, you don't have to like who I like, and I don't have to like who you like. As long as we all enjoying the product, however we enjoy it, that's really what it's all about. So
yeah, 100%. And like, it's taken a while for me to pick a faction. It's taken me about 5 years to pick a faction. So I'm glad my Bullet Club boys picked up the win.
Bullet Club is a solid faction too. You got Switchblade, Evil, El Phantasmo, Taiji Ishimori, the tag team champions. Bullet Club's a solid faction, man.
You got Kenta, you got the Good Brothers who are probably going to come over for the tag league. You got the Elite Boys who are your fave. It's
yeah.
I bet you can't wait for them to come, and there won't be an invasion angle, but I bet you can't wait to see the press conference with Kenny Omega in.
There are some matchups for him to be had. We can talk and we can have a show about that here in the future too. But there are some matchups for those guys to be had over there that I wouldn't mind them, tussling in the ring. But now on this show, on this Road to Beginning show, we at the penultimate match of the show. This is more build up for the final for the Road to Beginning, or for the new beginning in Hiroshima. Excuse me. I swear I can speak English. Master Wato's going to take on Bushi in the special singles match, and without giving my hand too much, I think we know how that special singles match should go. Even though I'm a Bushi fan to death, Master Wato should probably win that match, depending on, if Sho beats Hiromu Takahashi, which I'm 100% for, I think Bushi should definitely get the win in that singles match to challenge for the belt, because he rarely challenges for that title. But I just probably see Master Wato winning that match. But in the meantime, between time, he's not winning tonight because he's tagging up with the god himself, Tamaki Homa, and they're taking on Bushi and Tetsuya Naito right here. And once again, LK, I thought I was like, would this be the night that maybe Tamaki Homa, because I was talking all this shit like, man, he ain't getting a singles match with Naito now, dude. But lo and behold, they still had one match left. And I was like, is this the night he actually could pin Naito? Nope. Jackknife hold, once again, you would think by this time he would have figured out a way to get out of the damn jackknife hold throughout this tour. But nah, he gets pinned by it again. 14 minutes and 20 seconds, very entertaining match. But once again, it just solidifies the fact that unless they get matched up in the New Japan Cup, there won't be a special singles match. There won't be a special singles match between Naito and Homa, but there might be a singles match if he's in the New Japan Cup. But that's even a stretch right here. Post match too, we get some LIJ beatdown on Master Wato and Tamaki Homa as well, and that's kind of that little wrinkle I like with the LIJ staple here is I think they're the mad tweeners of New Japan. What I mean like that they're the only stable that they really don't have any defined role to where, depending on who they're wrestling, they're going to be the heels, depending on who, they're going to be the faces. And with this little mini feud with Homa and Wato here, Bushi and Naito definitely took the heel role because they're just tossing them around the ring and everything and like that. And it just kind of makes me miss Fantastica Mania, okay, because we would have got that this year probably. And, to seeing Naito and Rush interacting and all that good stuff. He probably wouldn't have been over with CMLL. That's a whole nother story. But I just like when we get more of the heelish side of Naito as opposed to the more tweener, more the side of babyface side.
Yeah, 100%. Especially when they're up against guys like Sho and Honma white meat baby faces in a way, so it's kind of makes sense for them to play that heel role. I agree if Honma's just taken fall after fall after fall, kind of lost, and not to be harsh, like a lot of credibility. Like, so for example, when he came out in the Giant Barber Show, we won't give too much, away because we're going to do a separate review on that. But I kind of wasn't that kind of pumped because it's like, I've seen Honma lose a lot. Like, we've watched him lose a lot. So it's kind of one of those, it's Honma. Like, I think, unlike Kojima and Tenzon, who, went on to have, great banger matches at New Beginning, I kind of, with Honma, I'm just kind of like, just, what are you doing, buddy? Like, what are you doing? I feel sorry for him. But yeah, I reckon Wato's going to beat Bushi at New Beginning. And I think it's going to be a good match. And I got go on.
I'm about to say, go ahead. Okay, you go ahead. And I got a kind of a hot take call. I think that might happen after this New Beginning stuff.
Okay, go with your hot call because I wasn't going on to go too much. What's your hot take? What's your hot call?
Sito in one of the post-match interviews vaguely mentioned that one Great Okan actually mentioned him, and normally it's just like, okay, that's just whatever. But I'm not saying in the immediate future, but sometime in 2021, that matchup is probably going to happen. I'm looking at it, because
Master Wato and
Great Okan and Tetsuya Naito. Okay.
What would be the purpose of it though?
Because it started because Great Okan, out of the blue, kind of just took a shot at Naito in one of his post match interviews early in the tour. You know what I mean? It was kind of out of the blue. He wasn't beefing with nobody in Lij or anything right then. He just kind of vaguely took a shot at Lij, at Naito just out of nowhere. And Naito followed up on that, and he was just like, yeah, Khan mentioned me, I forgot exactly what he said to him, but now he mentioned the fact that Khan brought him up, and I thought that was real interesting too. And another thing about that is during the World Tag League, when I was doing the show with Jana, before, it was even matches before, Great Okan was talking about, I can't wait till I get you in the ring. It's been a long time coming. He's like, pretty much, I'm about to put a beat. And he's talking about Evil. And I'm like, when the fuck did he have beef with Evil? I'm like, what the fuck is going on with Great Okan and the LIJ members? Well, I mean, he's not in LIJ anymore. But I was like, he just kind of was like, yeah, you. And he just wouldn't mention him by name. It was just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. But can you keep affording to have Great Okan having all these losses, because he's going to lose to Naito? You would be very surprised if Okan beat him. So then he goes, loses to Tanahashi, potentially loses again. Sorry?
I don't think he's losing to Tanahashi, though.
Oh, okay, so what? So you're saying he's going to beat Tanahashi, win the Never Strap, and then he's going to go on from there to Naito challenge him?
Yeah, I think Naito's going to challenge for the Never Strap.
Could you imagine, in the year 2021, that the Never Openweight champions would be, you go from Shingo to Tanahashi at Wrestle Kingdom. Sorry, you have Shingo, then you have Tanahashi, then you have Great Okan, and then you have Tetsuya Naito. It could be the greatest year in the history of the Never Openweight division.
Okay, for all intents and purposes right now, the Never Openweight title is the second ranked belt in New Japan right now, so why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, if they're not going to unify the fucking belts, I want to see them unified. I just don't... I hate the fact when... So, for example, Evil now, he's won the Never Openweight title, right?
Yep.
He's won the six-man tag belts, right?
Yep.
He's won the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champs with Sonata, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
And technically he's won the IC and the World title, so he's a Grand Slam champion, but he's never won that IC title. It's one of those little pet peeves of mine when a wrestler has double belts. It's like, you technically didn't win that. You just won one match and got two belts for it. So
I didn't realize Evil won all of those. Why, dude? You just made me realize Evil just has won all the belts in New Japan. Jesus,
he can retire now. He can retire now. There's nothing more for him to do. He's done it all, apart from main event Wrestle Kingdom. He's done it all and win the G1. He's done it all.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that, man. This dude. And speaking of the double title, that just leads us to the main event of this show. It's more I hate to say preliminary, but this is pretty much just leading us to the two main events we have on the following nights. One main event tomorrow night, that being Hiromu Takahashi and Sho. Main event the following night, that being Sonata and Kota Ibushi right here. And I was wondering how they were going to go with this tag team match. Okay, I really was, because with being so close to those two events, I was like, even before this match came on, I was like, man, I might smell a time limit draw right here, because
no one can afford a loss.
Exactly. If this was like a couple days away or maybe even a week out, one of these guys could have lost right here. But with it being so close to the events, I was like, I don't know how they're going to pull this off. And my assumptions were correct. It was a great match. This match actually did more service for the Kota Ibushi Sonata match, in my opinion, for me to get excited for it than any match they've actually had on the tour. So credit to Sonata and credit to Kota Ibushi right there. I was already excited for the Sho and Hiromu Takahashi Junior Heavyweight Championship match. I didn't need to get up for that. I was already super hyped for that match, even more so hyped, which to me, I'm setting my alarm because I'm getting up for the show, because there's a rule here in the SOS Wrestling Network house now. Dion only gets up for big shows, and guess what? These are two big shows we got coming up. So I'll be setting my alarm. So that being said, people can maybe say the draw is a cop-out, which I understand. It is what it is. But in this situation, like you're saying, okay, neither four of these guys could afford a loss. No,
so it's smart booking by getting the time limit draw. And I'm still not sold on Sonata versus Ibushi. I'm not. And it's not a dig at fucking the wrestlers. It's just they're not being given a storyline that can make anyone give a fuck. Like, do you actually, and like, besides the fact, as a wrestling match, do you actually think Sonata has a chance, even a remote chance, of winning the fucking IWGP Heavyweight World title on Thursday? Because I, for one, do not.
Oh, hell no. Okay. And I know you can remember this feud, because even though our viewing of it has changed throughout the years, it's fluctuated throughout the years. This actually, as you were just talking, reminds me of a WWE post WrestleMania feud from a couple years back. It reminds me when Daniel Bryan, when he won the heavyweight and the WWE title, great moment, which for Kota Ibushi fans, amazing moment. Cherish that forever. Then after the big show, it was pretty much like, okay, so who's he going to wrestle now? You know what I mean? And
yeah, wasn't it Kane? Didn't they have a match with Kane?
Yeah, it was Kane. LK, it was exactly Kane. And you can almost say Sonata and Kane are almost comparable at this point to where their levels on the card. You know what I mean? You can say it's pretty comparable, because upper mid-card type person, and you probably don't believe them to take the belts off of them, pretty comparable. So it's like, all right, well, he's going to wrestle Kane, a.k.a. Sonata right here, which Cold Skull, and then you got the Fire Dude. It's actually kind of a funny parallel when you think about it. No, it's just really weird. It just kind of reminds me of that, okay, that post-WrestleMania when Daniel Bryan really didn't have anybody else to face, and they were like, all right, here's Kane.
Yeah, it was a, And that's the thing, Bryan and Kane went on to have a good match. They actually had Extreme Rules 2014. It was actually a really good match. They did, a surprising banger. But yeah, there's only so much you can do with it's going to be a good match, because my emotional investment in there, it just isn't there. It's kind of like, it's not I don't care who wins. It's not, because I care who wins because it's for the belt. But take away the belt, it's just, there's no beef. It's like they're buddies, and it's not even they're buddies to the point where they're, shaking hands, fist bump, raising each other's arms, going, you know what? Me and you, we're going to find out who the best wrestler is. It's not even that. It's just, fist bump, off we go. See you later. Catch your ass down the line. What's the point? It's like, come on, make me care. And, I don't kind of listen to any other New Japan kind of podcast. Any time I listen is if, Ranting puts one on, but I haven't had one of them since the New Beginning one, so I kind of don't know anyone else's opinion on the one. But what is kind of the main kind of Twitter world reaction to Ibushi and Sonata? Is it kind of the same as who gives a shit?
I've been seeing mixed. I've seen more, I guess, positive more than negative, I guess. But okay. I don't know. I'm kind of with you on that. This is not a match I'm going to get up for. If you know what would have been really more intriguing, even though it probably still would have been not a throwaway defense, but it's just weird. I just think it's kind of crazy. Kota Ibushi is going to get a second defense, and Naito didn't even get a second defense. But I digress.
Bitter boy.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, yeah, salty bitter guy over here. But I would have thought what I don't know what would have been more interesting. I don't know because I guess they couldn't have done this. This the only way they could have done it is how they did it right now. But if you'd had Tanahashi challenge Ibushi, you know Tanahashi would have lost. But he's just a bigger draw right now, and still it is it is career. He's still the bigger star, and you could have had him having the defense against the ace, and it'd be like, all right, well, he beat the ace. And then if you wanted to go to Sonata right after that, I wouldn't have been upset. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm like, okay, that's fine.
I think if they did this in a way that would have made me care, I think they could have got away with it. If Sonata came in and he picked up some big wins on these Road 2 shows, pinning, relatively big names who kind of aren't doing much, pinning a Tanahashi, pinning a Shingo who kind of isn't doing much right now. Pinning a guy like that will kind of just build him up, and he'll be like, oh my god, he could beat him. Because heading in, I don't think he has a fucking chance in hell. I think, great, we have Ibushi here who's going to come, he's going to beat him, and then that's that. The way it feels to me is they needed someone to challenge for the belt, and Sonata will do. Like, it's not, let's put a lot of brain power in, let's think of a good way to get people invested. You could have literally had Sonata go as if he's about to hit Ibushi, and they kind of do is slap his chest, kind of like what Naito does. And it would be like, oh shit, he's or just little things they could have just done which would have made everyone care more. I think that's the biggest problem. It's just, I don't care. It's just, and that's the thing, I don't want to be negative Nelly on here, like, I don't care about the match, but I just, heading in, I don't have any expectations apart from it's going to be a good match and Ibushi's going to win. Like,
yep. And even I forgot that Sonata was even the G1 Climax finalist. So it's,
yeah. I mean, the story even makes sense. Sonata's like, you know what, you beat me last time, but this time I'm not going to let myself down. I know what I need to do. And just simple promos get intense. Just for one, be like, you know what, I am the Cold Skull, but I'm finally going to win that belt. The belt that's eluded me my whole career. Just get some passion in there. It could so easily been done.
That's kind of New Japan faults too, because it's because the way they've done Sonata, they've made it to where it's hard for anybody, at least us. It's hard for us to buy him actually beating.
And like we're kind of I wouldn't say positive New Japan, but like we praise New Japan a lot. Like, we can stick on a Road 2 show, and because we're so invested in listening to this, their characters, we care. There's no care because Sonata's character's kind of so cut off. It's like, Sonata, he's a great wrestler. But that's not enough. That's not enough when you're involving a world title in a promotion with continuous storylines. If this is PWG with just random matches for belts, that's awesome. But this is a continuality storyline based product, and you have to care, especially about that world title. Because to me, my main event of this tour is Sho versus Hiromu.
Absolutely. Okay, you know what? Maybe not other people, but at least me personally, will make me instantaneously care more about Sonata if he said this, and he said it more than once. If he said, "It is my dream and it is my destiny to win to not only match my mentor but surpass my mentor, the Great Muta, to win our IWGP Heavyweight title like he did, and to be as great as he did, if not better." If he was to hammer that point home, I'd be like, all right, I see what he's trying to do here. Like, at least you have a goal. You know what I mean? It's like, okay,
reason, motivation. Because, like, for all I know, Sonata doesn't even care if he wins the belt or not. Because there's just been no urgency. There's been no, and I get it. He's the Cold Skull. I get it. But man, just a little bit. I mean, just a little bit of intensity. And even Ibushi, there's been no, getting in his face. There's been nothing. It's been, hey bud, fist bump. At the end of the time of a draw, raising each other's hands. Mate, I don't care now if they're going to go fight for the fucking belt. They can, I think they're going to go fucking have sex in the fucking hotel room. That's not what I want to see. I want to see these guys go at it. I want to see them fucking... I don't expect, because they're both kind of, like I said, LIJ being kind of tweeners, so Sonata's kind of a mixture of a babyface and a heel, and Kota Ibushi's a babyface. Just some intensity. Like, Kota Ibushi, imagine this. Like, Kota Ibushi wanting Sonata to kind of snap. So, like, this whole tour, you've been having Ibushi giving him a snap, give him a slap, give him a slap there, like, come on, bring it, I want your best, slap. And Sonata's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then eventually on this show, the final go home, the final selling point, the final chance to get you to buy the New Japan World before the pay-per-view on February 11th. And then they start brawling, and then afterwards, they kind of get pulled apart by refs, and they just kind of look at each other, And Ibushi just smiles, and Sanada smiles, and then they can fist bump. Then they can fist bump all the fuck they want. If they enjoy fist bumping so much, that's what they can do. And at least then it's like, Ibushi got you to snap. That should always be the story with Sanada. I'm going to make you tick. And then Sanada ticks and then stops. Because then it's like, okay, cool. Now I want to see you boys. I've seen you guys snap. I want to see that snapping in the ring. But no, they just did, let's have a time no draw again. And fuck off. The match itself was great. The time no draw was a great match. But man, poor build.
Okay, until then, I'm about to say, until then, Sonata is going to be a dude that's just a title challenger, a placeholder, filler. And then until I see different, this is nothing taken away from in the ring from both these guys. Until I see different, Kota Ibushi's just a guy holding the belts right there. He's not the champion yet. He's just got the belts to me. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like we need to solidify Kota Ibushi as this kind of mega star, not even mega star, just kind of getting some title wins against established wrestlers. And Sonata's established, but he's not that main. He's not an Okada, he's not a Naito, he's not a Jay White, he's not a fucking... He needs to be represented how Evil is. Because Evil is like, you know what? He's a guy who could beat anyone. But if he takes losses, it's not that bad because you kind of know it's Evil. He's not a main star. He's not going to sell out the Tokyo Dome. But, you know, he could be in the title picture. He's more feasible than Sonata at this point, which is a shame because Sonata is great. Like, as harping on here, it's just a booking, man. It's a rarity that New Japan's booking for a particular match will piss me off as much as...
Okay. I got another one who they could have thrown it, if not even Hiroshi Tanahashi. If you still want to throw Tanahashi at Shingo Takagi for the Neverweight title, fine, we can go off on that road. If you wanted to throw Sonata at my man Kota Ibushi right here, I got somebody you could have had him wrestle a New Beginning, and this is somebody we talked about at the beginning of the show, who at any point is a viable contender for any title, and he is a super threat. You could have threw Minoru Suzuki at Kota Ibushi off top, and if you beat Minoru Suzuki, that's super viable.
Yes, absolutely. It's like heading in, you're like, Suzuki isn't going to win, but fuck me, they're going to build it up to a way where Suzuki's going to be torturing this guy to the point where you're like, oh, you know what, Suzuki, he's taking him to town. Imagine Suzuki, you know, he's never won the belt before. It could, you know, it could work. Exactly that. A great shout would have been Suzuki. It'll give him a bit of motivation, a bit of, you know, extra care to come to work. And it's just, no, we got Sonata, and it's been a pathetic build. It's been the worst build. I dare say it's been the worst build up for an IWGP Heavyweight Championship match I've ever seen. Ever.
What? And shit, speaking of both of those matches, we'll talk about that here in the preview, here coming up pretty soon. But man, dude, yeah, like, solid show. You know, I'm like you said, we're sure there's going to be a good match. This left, I am excited for a lot of these matches here. But yeah, these guys are going to have to do some shit.
Absolutely. So, yep, that's our Road to New Beginning show. Apologies we didn't really break down that main event very well. Kind of went on rants. The match itself was good, though. If you have a bit of time, 30 minutes, it's a good watch. Just don't expect yourself to be pumped afterwards. Because, like, if you read to me they went to a 30-minute draw, I'll be like, oh, my God, and what, they're going to fight for the belt on Thursday? Oh, my God, you know, that must be amazing. And you watch, it's like, yeah, the match is good, but just fucking... it's just tragic. What can you do, though? What can you do?
Right, just hope for a good ass match, and maybe Minoru Suzuki can challenge after this. Who knows, man? Okay, but they should have did it in reverse order.
Absolutely.